When she heard that her father asked her to meet his first love, Claire refused almost without hesitation. "I'm not going." Jacob opened his hand. "Then don't stop Charlie from following me. Anyway, one of you must follow me." "You." Claire was furious and asked, "It is more important to eat with your old classmates, or to find mother is more important?" "Dad, don't you know it clearly?" Jacob blurted out, "It is clear, of course it is more important to eat with old classmates." "You." Although Claire had always had a good temper, she was really going to be blown up at this time. Jacob said indifferently at this time, "Claire, you have to understand one thing. This world does not revolve around your mother. There are 4 people in this family. Your mother and I have our own needs. You can revolve around your mother, but you can't force me or force Charlie to revolve around her. We don't have anything to live on? We don't have any needs of ourselves?" Speaking of this, Jacob continued with a little excitement. "Could it be that if your mother can't find it back one day, I can't do other things a day, so I can only go out to find her? Then if she can't find it back forever, then I don't have to sit besides, I will find her to die in the second half of my life. If this is the case, then I would rather run away from home. Why should I do this?" Claire was speechless. Although she knew that what her father was talking about was false, she still had to admit that there was some truth in this statement. Dad has been suppressed by mother for so many years, and now her mother has suddenly disappeared. For him, it should be a kind of relief, but also a kind of release. In desperation, she could only compromise and said, "You want to party with classmates, I have no objection, but after the meeting, you have to help me find mother's whereabouts." "Okay, okay." Jacob agreed repeatedly, and said with a smile, "Don't worry, I will go all out at that time." Charlie came out carrying fried eggs and bacon. He saw Jacob dressed up and said in surprise, "Oh, Dad, you are looking handsome today." Jacob smiled happily, and said, "How about it, can you tell?" Charlie nodded and said with a smile, "That's so good." Claire rubbed her temples and said to Charlie, "You accompany Dad to see his old classmates at noon. After meal, you will quickly go to a place like Mahjong Hall to find out if anyone saw Mom." Charlie immediately agreed and said, "Okay wife, I will go with Dad." At the same time, breakfast was also started in the detention center. Elaine slept in the toilet all night. She was trembling all over. She was hungry and almost fainted. She was looking forward to eating breakfast to add something, otherwise she would really be hungry and faint. The 2 people who took the meal quickly brought back a plastic basket. Everyone went to take the meal. Elaine didn't dare to take it directly. Instead, she walked up to Jenna Jones and asked pitifully, "Sister Jones, can I have a bite? I haven't eaten anything for a day and night." Jenna Jones frowned while drinking porridge and steamed buns, and asked her, "What does it have to do with me whether you eat or not? Am I not letting you eat it?" Elaine said bitterly, "I'm afraid you will hit me again after I eat." Jenna Jones sneered and said, "It's good if you know it. If you want to eat, you can eat whatever you want. If you are full, you can get beaten up." Elaine knew this was a threat. As long as she eats by herself, even as long as she reaches out to get the meal, she will probably suffer a meal. So she cried and pleaded, "Sister Jones, you beat, scolded, and punished yesterday. Please be merciful and forgive me." Jenna Jones raised her eyebrows and asked, "I can spare you, but who can bring my dead mother back to life? Do you know how miserable it was when she drank pesticides and finally lay in the hospital bed with breathless and suffocated breath?" Elaine burst into tears and said, "Sister Jones, I know you are a filial daughter, but I haven't harmed your mother." Jenna Jones angrily said, "You still talk nonsense with me? I tell you, my mother was killed by her unfilial daughter-in-law, so I feel sick when I see someone like you. You should be glad that it is not an ancient society, otherwise I would chop you out for the sky." The old Mrs. Wilson hummed triumphantly, "Jenna, you are so right. This kind of woman was supposed to be immersed in a pig cage in ancient times. It is the kind of bamboo cage. Put her in it, and then put on a few big rocks and throw them into the river to drown her directly. Elaine was so frightened that she didn't dare to say anything, nor did she dare to eat. She could only bow her head and stand in front of Jenna Jones, like a kid who made a mistake. Jenna Jones drank her last mouthful of porridge, and used the last piece of steamed bread to turn around in the porridge bowl, dipped all the remaining rice fat in the porridge bowl, and ate it in one bite. Afterwards, she said intently, "Oh, I don't seem to be full." At this time, a female prisoner pointed to the plastic basket and said, "Sister, isn't there still one portion left in there? You can eat that portion too." Jenna Jones deliberately looked at Elaine with a smile, and asked with a grin, "Oh Elaine, I have breakfast for you, are you okay?" No comments, no comments. How can Elaine dare to say something? Can only nod like garlic. Jenna Jones smiled and said, "I'm fine, I am a person who exercises a lot, so I have a lot of appetite. It took a lot of physical energy to beat you yesterday, and I really need to make up for it today." With that, she walked to the plastic basket and took out the lunchbox inside. After opening it, she held the buns in one hand and the lunchbox in the other for porridge. Because she deliberately wanted to torture Elaine, she drank porridge and sucked very loudly, making Elaine's gluttonous legs soft and her stomach twitching.